amazing. Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. I am so excited for today. You are in for a beautiful treat. My beautiful guest, Miss Emily, has so much that we are going to share. I honestly am going to tell you now, this is going to be probably a two-part episode because as we exchanged voice notes, I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. Oh gosh, we got to talk about that too. Oh, I want to know more about that. So you are being served, I am being served, and it is going to be an amazing conversation. So welcome back to the Sovereign Soul. You all know me. I'm Jacqueline Hopper, your host. I'm going to give my guest an opportunity to introduce herself to you, and then we're going to get right into it. Miss Emily, tell us about you.
Hello, thank you so much for having me over here. Um, so yes, how do I define who I am? It's better to kind of say who I work with. So I was a physio for a long time before jumping into private mentorship, and really the the things that are most alive for me and where my journey has taken me is down the path of transformation and really unpacking what is transformation? How do we create profound transformation in the core of who we are? And it's been an unfolding path of bringing in what consciousness is, how energy works, and really what are the conditions that we need in order to allow transformation to take place. So it's been quite a journey.
Yes, and I'm loving your journey, and we're going to get into your journey. There's a few things that I want you to define for me, though. Physio, talk to me about what that means to you, what your journey has been with it, and, your approach.
Okay, so I qualified in physio in 2008, so quite a long time ago now. Physiotherapy is all about helping people with their physical body with an array of different health conditions. What happened was in 2019 was in my personal life I had a huge change of events which flipped my life upside down and took me and just evolved my work as somebody who could help people. So the label of physio didn't fit. So I don't really identify with being a physio anymore. It doesn't feel like it fits what I do, who I am. It's very much a box that doesn't suit me anymore.
Mhm.
So
Talk to us about what it is, though, because I know through past conversations with you, it was the gateway for you. Like Reiki was a gateway for me. It's what really got me into understanding energy and understanding, how it moves within the body and what my part was in the consciousness and being able to move my unique healing energy and my unique
mm,
modality into the world. Would you say, I mean, do you still agree with that this was kind of like the launching for you into there's got to be
I
something more to this? And
mm, yeah, I do, but it's really interesting in hindsight when you look back at the path that your life has taken. Physio found me. I didn't choose it, but when I heard about it, it was an absolute full body yes. So
mm,
so I did the whole physio thing, but it was the thing that changed everything was this thing that we term a spiritual awakening,
yep.
which I think unless you've experienced it, it's really hard to comprehend what it is because it just sounds out there. It sounds a bit woo, a bit mystical, but it's such an inner shift in your state of being that it changes your perception on every aspect of your life.
Yes. Okay, so you're living life, right? You've got
Yes.
beautiful daughters. You're doing physio. You're helping people in that modality and in that way.
Yes.
And then this big experience comes your way. Tell us about it.
So this was the thing that I never thought would be in my life, and that was that my marriage ended suddenly. So I didn't see it coming. I was, we were a family that were two young girls under three, creating a family business. I was working part time as a physio, like a busy life, things that we can all relate to, lots of different things going on. There was a degree of stress because we're creating things and we're actively doing a lot. Um, but my husband at the time decided that he no longer wanted to be married, and that was it. And it wasn't a point of discussion. It wasn't something that I saw coming. It wasn't something we'd discussed before. So in that sense, it blindsided me, and it felt like suddenly I was in a dream, but I wasn't in a dream. And it was just, I mean, relationships end all the time, and people don't have the experience that I had. But I
Yeah.
think because I think it had to be a part of my path.
Mhm.
To be where I am now, I had to have experienced such a deep suffering. But I think at the same time, what happened was because I was working as a physio with the physical body, because my experience of pain and suffering was emotional, it brought a different lens to what I was seeing in other people.
Mm.
So, as people were coming to see me in physio for physical symptoms, it was like my intuition got turned on, but these extra senses in a way got turned on, and very quickly I could tell that there was so much beneath the surface of what people were presenting with. So the assessment deepened, my conversation shifted, and I was already tugging outside of the box of physio.
Right. So, was this an experience that you had? Was it just in the process of grieving the marriage and getting quiet inside with yourself that this
I
really
know, it's
changed?
like how do I say, there's so much to say, how do I streamline it? So um so he said he no longer wanted to be married. I think I was vomiting physically for 2 days from the sheer shock of it. But I had two children under five, under three at the time. I was still breastfeeding my youngest, and I had to keep going. So whereas Emily pre-children would have got a one-way ticket to the other side of the world, there
Yeah.
was no option for that. I had to be with what was happening, which was really, really hard.
Mm.
Um, and because there was no conversation, there was nothing I could do, it was out of my control. By the power of life and the Facebook algorithms, a advert for an 8-week stress reduction course found me, and it was mindfulness based meditation.
Mm.
And as soon as I saw it, I'd never been down that route before, but as soon as I saw it, I felt again, full body, I need to be on that. And it was 8 weeks. I said, I need you to have the girls while I need to do this. And it was every Monday for 8 weeks. It was about a 40-minute drive away, but there was something that was pulling me to that thing. And the minute that I got there, and we were just in a little church hall in a little town in the middle of nowhere, and there was only about 6 of us in the circle, but I felt like that's exactly where I needed to be. And this is where I feel like I've always had this, I don't know, there's something in me that's leading me down a certain path, or that's guiding. And I've had it from being, probably a teenager, and
Yeah.
this feeling of needing to go. So it was the mindfulness meditation and the self-inquiry that I started, because when he left, I was questioning who I was because I thought I was a good person. So this is where all our conditioning starts to come up,
Yes.
and the identity that we've believed ourselves to be is just like shattered, and it's suddenly it's like, well, who am I then?
Yeah. Yes. And it often is the profound, you can call it trauma, big T, little t, shifts and changes in our worlds that really, I love shatter. I love shatter. I love that word, because it's the universe's way of coming in and really deconstructing what we've given so much power to and what we've given so much identity to, and being able to help us uncover the real truth of who we are. Did we really loved life the way that it was? Did we really put our all into what we were doing? Was this truly what brought us life and lit us up inside, and what is it here to teach me?
Mm.
What is this teaching me? And you know, these awakenings, call them a dark night of the soul. I don't know if that's a phrase you resonate with or not, but for me it was a dark night of the soul of really questioning, I'm going on this path and this is what I should be doing, should be all over the place. Why isn't it working? Why isn't it unfolding? and just throwing my hands up and going, God, take me then where I'm meant to be. I didn't realize it would be all the way from New York to Colorado, but that's exactly what happened, and
Mm,
it started to become, and that's how my metaphysical experience started really happening, and the idea of, the gifts and opening ourselves up and going down that spiritual path of, what is there here for me, and how am I connected to it, you know? So
absolutely.
so this is a journey that that came and took you. It was when you found yourself on, like, okay, we're rolling with this. Um, God, there's so many questions. The guides are like, there's just so much to go to. So what was the experience with the meditation? Because I have always resonated with you. When we've talked, I'm like, I just want you to know. You're really gifted, and you've got a lot of gifts that are coming online that you've got to like be in this know of, and you're like, I know, but talk to me
Uh,
about what
so
what is it up for you.
meditation was at the time the only way that I knew that I was still alive.
Mm,
Sitting on my cushion
oh my
every
gosh.
morning, and I made sure I bookended my day with it because I it was survival. And the only way, because it felt like a nightmare slash dream that I was in, but I wasn't. It was my lived experience. I didn't know who I was, but the meditation, just purely sitting on that cushion and watching the breath move in and out of my body, resting my attention on it, was the only way that I knew I was still alive. So in that sense, I feel like I met death.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
absolutely, yes. The death of an identity, the death of a version of life that was supposed to be. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, yeah,
And so
yeah.
many layers of death, because even death of the husband.
Hmm.
So even though he was physically still moving around, and when I've spoken to other women who have actually had their partner pass away, the experience on a human level is the same. The depth of
Absolutely.
suffering and loss is the
Yeah,
same.
yeah.
And I think there's something really powerful about having met the depth of suffering, like the bottom, which is death,
It is.
and
It
then
is.
finding a way back.
In rebirth.
Mm.
What I have loved about our conversations, just in passing and previous spaces, your the integrity level around what you want to bring forward for women, particularly around truth, around their truth, around uncovering their truth.
Yes.
What did you uncover when it came to your truth as you moved through that experience?
That I wasn't anything. No, that's not true. That I wasn't who I thought I was. And underneath all of the conditioning, there was this. Uh, I love the word divine because for me, there's something really rich about it.
It
There's
is.
something that it's not tangible in an easy way, but when I hear the word and I see it and I feel into it, it feels so good.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like there was this divine essence underneath everything about who I knew I was, and there was truth. So not my personal truth, because my personal truth pre-awakening was
Yeah.
I'm I'm really insecure about how I look. I'm really worried about what other people think about me. I need to do everything because, not that I knew all of this then, but it's how I
Yeah.
reflect on myself.
Yeah.
I wore busyness like a badge. If somebody
Yeah.
needed something doing, give it to me because I'll fit it in somewhere. But I
Yeah.
never sat down.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
know what relaxation was.
Yeah.
So the truth was, for me, what I was hungry for that year was the truth.
Mm.
Not my truth, but the truth. What is the ultimate truth about me and of life?
Yes.
If everything that if I've worked hard and I've gone to uni, I've got a degree, I'm supposed to, you know, that's supposed to give me a better job, I get a family, we do everything that we're sort of sold, and then it's literally taken away from me. What's the point?
Yes.
That's what I, and I was like, what, why am I here? What is life? Who am I? And so it was the seeking of the truth that it meant that I didn't seek through other people what they thought about what was happening to me, because they were another human in their own experience of
Yeah, and
condition.
I would not expect, what's the better word? I would understand if during that vulnerable and raw time, that's the last place you wanted to go was to another human. You didn't want to go and
Yes.
sit and, it wasn't for the connecting, more so it was as you're shifting through all of this and you're moving through identity shifts of being, ashamed or embarrassed or confused, like holy smokes, like to go and actually be vulnerable felt even more raw than where you already were.
Yes, actually, I did find myself in a counsellor's office that randomly, I think also being from a health background, I didn't, none of it resonated with me. I was being taken somewhere else, and the seeking of truth wasn't conditioned Emily, that had been taken away. So it was like, what is this truth? It's
Yeah.
like black and void,
Mm.
but what is there now? I don't, and that's where I think I've just had this inner movement all along, this thing in me that's
Yep.
led
Yeah.
me here for a reason.
Yeah.
Um, Interestingly, the counsellor at the time, I went with my now ex-husband, and she could not contain my rage at the time. She did
Mm.
not know what to do with my emotions,
Fire.
my
You're
array.
fire.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
absolutely.
fire. 100%. It's
Did not know.
sacred rage,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like, I'm sorry, sir, but I did everything I was supposed to do,
Yes.
and in many ways gave up aspects of myself to create this vision for us and
Hmm.
them. And now you're just gonna walk away? Like,
Yeah.
make it make sense, my guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew that wasn't. I knew that was not the path. But I knew the meditation
Yeah.
was the path, and
Yeah.
what I was asking. I mean, I journaled all the time. I was asked. I've got pages and pages of unanswered questions that I was asking at the time. That interestingly, as you walk the inner path, they are revealed over time.
Yes, it's the
But
beautiful
it's
part of
the
it.
inner knowing. It's not being
Yeah.
told. It's receiving it from within. That's
Yes.
the richness.
It is. And that's where everything clicks. It's that inner clicking of things where, make it make sense.
Yes.
And I think a lot of spiritual people, especially after having a profound spiritual awakening, um, it's very difficult to label it. It's very difficult to put words to it. And my belief is that it's not often something we have to put words to, that it gets to be for us this very sacred and intimate thing that we are having within ourselves, for ourselves, because of what we're here to do, and it gets to be something that expresses itself through our vibration and through our frequency and through our service. And people come to know what it is as they mingle and as they receive from us. You
Yes.
know, um, so today, let's fast forward to today.
Hmm.
How has this work, you stepped aside from the physio and you're really stepping into supporting women right now with uncovering the truth of their beingness. What are you into now?
Yes. I mean, well, how do we put it into words? I think what I found is that the right people that are ready tend to find me, and they might find me through people that know me or find me randomly, but they're all at a similar point where they might have tried lots of different things to try to shift how they feel or to shift some part of their life. But they're in a degree, we are in a degree of suffering, and that's a spectrum of its own. But they are
Absolutely.
people that are desiring change. So they realize that they feel a way that they don't want to feel. And again, they're not all experiencing the same discomfort. It can show up in different areas of life, but it's like they're ready for the depth. That they've tried all of the things that try and help on the surface,
Conventional
but there's
things. Yeah.
something calling them deeper as
Deeper.
well.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
find it hard to, it's not what I shared in some of the voice notes is one of my challenges has been to find the right language to speak to this, because us having a conversation now, I'm having to think about the words that I'm using. When I'm in a kind of client relationship and they're in that space,
Yeah.
the conversation is different because I'm responding and tuning into where
Mm.
their system is at.
Yes. 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 I think it's really interesting, especially when we're working with spiritual gifts like this. Energy, the emotion, which is the energy that is emotion in the body. And I think too, there's just so much noise that to be able to step away from all the noise and the external stuff, to just to be silent, to get quiet, and to connect to that part of us that, like you said, knows the answers and knows which way to go. And it could be something that speaks to you audibly. Mine is audible, yours is full body. The sensation that you get full body is the higher version of you saying, this is for us, this is where we're going, this is what we're doing. And helping people uncover that, I would expect to be the first thing you do, especially with them wanting so much change in their lives. They're ready for it, and God, source, divine, works through other people. So of course they're coming to you when they're
Mm-hmm.
ready for it, because it's like, I'm ready for it. I've tried everything
Yeah,
else.
exactly. And this is the mystical side that
Yes.
I trust fully, and I trust it's always in motion. Oh, there was something else that was popping up then, but it might have disappeared again.
Good, it happens.
Mm.
They come in, they drop it, and then we move.
So it's more, yeah, it's more like speaking from the embodied space in a way that meets somebody where they're at, and rather than saying this is exactly how you're going to be, it's not about that. It's opening up to the potential of everything.
Absolutely. And in the way that I would phrase it, when a client comes and they've got a lot that they want, and I don't mean a lot in quantity, I mean a lot in depth. There's a lot that they're trying to articulate, that they're trying to navigate, that they're trying to really connect the pieces around. My stance in it is to see the highest version of what could be of them,
Mm-hmm.
to connect beyond the ego and to go right to the soul, right to that aspect of them that is pure essence.
Mm-hmm.
And when we hold that space, which is what you're describing, it's this is what it is, and this is what it could be. I'm going to hold this level. I'm going to hold this for us and allow you to maneuver through your grief, or through your pain, or through your confusion, or through whatever it is that you're working through. I'm going to maneuver you into this space where you can see it. I
Yes.
will hold it while you feel safe in bringing yourself over, and I think that that's such a I think it's very undervalued, quite frankly. I really do. I think that, there's still this hustle culture around coaching and mentorship. People really want, well, what are you going to do? Well, what are the steps? Well, what's the framework? All right, we'll start if we're doing this in a 6-month container. Okay, by month 6, what can I expect? Like, that's not this work at all. Lord knows. And because I
Exactly.
think I can raise my hand and say I've been wanting answers like that. Okay, if I'm going to do this, like, what's the outcome here? Can you give me something? And it does not, the divine doesn't work that way. The divine is not about meeting an expectation or a time schedule.
No.
What the divine is about is that connection to the soul, and what the soul's authority said. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to have this experience, and it is going to grow not just me but consciousness exponentially by my learning of it. So I really better get it right, or really better sit with it long enough for it to move something within me. And I think when people come, and like you say, when they find us, when they come with us, and they really feel like this is where I'm supposed to be, and I can't explain it, is definitely one that I hear often, and I'm sure you do as well. I don't know why, but I
Mm-hmm.
feel very guided to talk to you. I feel very connected with you. Like, can we do something? What do you offer? Because people just I've had clients describe it as I feel like I'm at home. And that's exactly what it is. You're back home in connection with a thread of love, right?
Yeah.
When you're working in these containers, it's all about bringing that integrity of love into the space so that people can feel that safety, that connection, and that clarity that they're desiring from their time with us.
Yes, I completely agree. There was just so much that I was like, yes, yes, yes. Then I think as well, one thing that came up was it's it is definitely the space we provide, and I think this is what's taken me. It keeps me on the research path as well because I think my human is still trying to make sense of the mystical, and what I find is when profound transformations happen, yes, we can't put a time limit on it, but also it can happen really quickly. So we might think it's going to take 6 months, but it could take 6 days. It's totally open to what wants to shift and move. I think where we sit in the work that we do is that we, because of who we are and what we've embodied through our own experience, is we we are the field of potentiality. We are the field of truth. I don't have to try. It's who I am.
Yes. I love
So I
that.
could overthink in my human, what am I gonna how is this session gonna go? But I don't even need to go there because I have full trust that when I'm with that person, life will just speak through me. And it feels like that. My human can even be surprised by what's flowing
Gosh, yeah.
in
Oh
the best
gosh.
way.
Yes. Oh gosh, yeah. And not just in that moment, but the my human gets really excited when people reach out a month later, 2 months later, a year later. Hey, did I ever tell you that this thing came to fruition? And you're, hey, like, yes, of course you did. Of course it did. Those are definitely those moments, and it really keeps me, I know, grounded in this space and very much wanting to not just research but expand even more so that people can come with. As you expand and as you grow, people come with. And there is a never ending, ever, never, ever, never, ever going to end the healing journey that we're on. Because even when we croak and we're on the other side and we decide we're going to do life again, we come back to do it all over again. So it's never going to be complete.
Mm,
And making peace with that, I think, is the first step that I would tell somebody. Make peace with that. This is not, what do they say? It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's going to take the time that it's going to take. And to your credit, you're right, because there's been things that I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to take forever. And within a few days, it shapes itself out to where it's doable, where it's received, where it's experienced, right?
yeah.
And then there's other things where we're still sitting on our fingers going, okay, exactly when?
Yeah, yeah,
you
exactly.
know?
And I think some of the most profound things that I've seen was in the the reversal of physical symptoms in clients I've worked with. And even just you saying you love to hear people reach out, I received last week an update email from a girl I worked with. I think it was early 24, just to give me an update because I think she had a particular condition, but I met her and very much from the start because of where I was, and I was still working as a physio at the time, but she had this particular neurological condition, interestingly, and she could barely stand from a seat.
Ugh,
She'd been given this label, and I
yep,
remember saying to her very clearly, you keep this label hovering here, you don't wear it as a badge. It does not become your identity. And there's a directness, I think, about me in certain situations when it's truth speaking,
absolutely, 100%.
like, hear this.
Yep.
And I'm not just pandering around, it's like, this is what you need to know. As
Mhm.
soon as you take it on and it sticks to you, it's much harder to remove. Keep it here and see it as a set of symptoms. Your body's speaking to you now.
Yes.
Let's figure this out. And
Yes.
within, I think the first session was very much assessment. The second one, she was standing up and down by the end of the session as if she had never not been able to, and walking across the room and back. And
Hmm.
there's lots of people I've worked with in the past that stay in my mind that have
Yeah.
shaped my understanding and
Hmm.
taken me deeper in my own inquiry. Um, and by the end of, I mean, I think I worked with her in a physio capacity for probably several months because it's a different setup to private work.
Sure.
Um, but she was running around a gym space.
That's
So
amazing.
at the point of discharge, she was symptom free. So when I
Mm,
received the email last week and she said, I think because it was so profound for her, she now lives with so much gratitude and she doesn't forget what she'd been through. And I think she was probably early to mid 20s, so a lot of life ahead
yeah.
of her.
Oh, yeah.
And she has been traveling. She has a dog that she walks every day. She's off all medication, no seizures since 2023. Um, Weightlifting at the gym. Like, that is reclamation of life. That is,
Complete, complete. And going back to what you said, it's when we take on an identity, when we make something ours, we literally do that. We make it ours. It becomes who we are.
mm,
But if we can do the work behind not associating this physical ailment, this anxiety, this depression with who we are, just like you said, we keep it in awareness, always in awareness,
mhm,
because there's a lot of people that favor, if you will. Mine is anxiety. For me, it's an anxiety thing when something's coming through, when something's going to shift, when something big is on the rise. There's this the awareness of anxiety, and it's like, oh, okay, you're here to tell me to go deeper. You're here to have me investigate. You're here to put me back in line again. It's an ally. It doesn't have to be something that we identify that debilitates us.
yeah,
And I love that because as soon as that is introduced, we start to shift our
mm,
perspective and our attachment to it.
mm,
And as soon as we do that, we give way for
mhm,
something else. It is we get to choose, and that's where our power is.
yeah.
The personal power is always choosing
Mm.
this or that.
And I think it's gonna go again, isn't it? Oh, it's because it's so much,
I know it's
energy.
like
There's so much to talk about. Um, oh, it's gone completely.
it's all good. It's all good.
It was
It's
about the
very
identity and the detachment and things. Oh, there was a piece there.
yeah, it'll come back. It'll come back. There is so much energy. And when I was talking to Emily and I'm like, I'm so excited for for our conversation. There's so much to bring. We're going to go really slow here
Mm,
because we have to stay grounded or this is going to happen often where we're going to
mm,
be like
mm,
just in the feels,
mm.
For me it's like Jackie, remember to talk. We don't just get to feel this and watch
Yes,
the energy, but we have to actually articulate things
yes,
for people to hear the podcast.
yes. And I think one thing that I was going to sort of bring in was how one thing I noticed in particular with women that were seeking physio for persistent pain, persistent symptoms, long term issues, it became really obvious the disconnection that they had within them.
Mm,
And that's
mhm.
why, even now, I talk about health a lot because it's been my background and it was the lens through which I was looking at the human experience for a lot of years. And I learned so much, but it was that we're just disconnected. Women are just disconnected from the truth of who they are.
And the truth of who you are, but also disconnected from the body.
Yes, massively.
Massively disconnected from the body because, and that was, we can go very deep into rabbit holes and we'll try not to, but this was conditioned. We from a very, 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 very long time ago, women were feared because we have that intuitive knowing. We do know what needs to take place and we do know how to nurture. You know, we are such a oh gosh, oh, we're gonna go. Okay, like this is just such a powerful conversation because, your way, most people's way as a woman, most people's way is uh, through the physical symptoms, and one of the really sacred places right now that I have found myself that has taken me to another level is the perimenopause. Now we won't have to go into all of this, but you know, really, really, truly, honoring the body should not be something that I'm just deciding is okay to do. It should have been something that I embraced a long time ago, really, truly looking at why I thought I had to do all of this this step, this step, this step, this step, this step. You know what I mean? Like it's so much unraveling in my space now, clearly because it's proper timing, divine timing. Here's where we go with that. But there's just so much that still, we are not connecting to, that has so much power and that can do such immense amounts of healing here in the physical world for women if we would start talking about it, step into it, start leading by it. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, where we could be.
Yeah, I know, and it's interesting because it is so inherent in our conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think back to, there was no conversations when I was growing up around tuning into your cycle and what the different phases mean and how you might feel. It was just very much like, keep going.
Well, not just keep going, but this is what happens if you do this thing, and this is what you'll end up with. So please don't.
Yes,
Like that was literally
yes,
the end of the
yes,
conversation. And it's like something to be feared and
absolutely.
something to, you know what I mean, avoid at all costs.
And nothing
Not
sacred about it. Nothing.
nothing sacred.
Yeah,
No. Nothing to listen to, nothing to tune in and understand. If anything, it created this run away from. And
yeah,
so it was absolutely the opposite of where we could have been, in
yes.
all of it. Yeah.
And I have two girls, so I'm very conscious about how I speak to them about it. I mean, they're only young, they're 8 and 10, but in a few years, there'll be, over the next few years, there'll be lots of hormonal changes and development. And so I'm very aware that children learn so much by how we as mothers lead ourselves.
Yeah.
So what I share with them about how I feel, or if I'm less patient one day, or I'm really, really tired, because I've been tracking my own cycle for a few years now, since 2019, because again, my path was like sovereign.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Which is
Right.
why I just love your podcast and what it stands for, and all
Yeah.
the work that you do,
Thank
um,
you.
because it was reclaiming
Yep.
my body,
Yep.
even from the contraception that I was using in the past. It
Yeah.
was, and it got to a point where it was just like a no. And again, this full body no of that nothing is going in my body again. So I've
Mm.
tracked it for the past few years, just doing a temperature in the morning. And honestly, the more that you can know about your body, and it's just like energy flowing, you just understand, and it's speaking to you.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely working with you, not
mm,
against you, which
mm,
is, I feel, how we as women are conditioned to
yes,
see our bodies, to see ourselves, and then this constant comparison to other women and other women's bodies. We're never given a moment to accept ourselves because we're always being compared to something or shoved something, or, you know what I mean? Like it definitely is, a conversation that, and I do think that my opinion is it does start with the cycle, and it does start with honoring where you are in life and moving through the different things in life and being more ease filled. It comes from you first. It isn't going to be something that just walks in that day, like you have to create that ease. And if we're constantly hustling and pushing and rushing things, it is just going to elude us for sure.
oh, there's just so much. I feel like I could just go down so many different paths. I'm like, what wants to be spoken to now? It all feeds into the same thing as well, because I feel like Emily pre-awakening, with all of her insecurities, when after the awakening, and it's not like it was a moment, a sudden moment. It was a moment in time over a period of time, but I received certain images or information on like the screen of my mind at different times,
Hmm.
like something would just drop in, and it felt like it's dropped in.
Yep,
And
yep.
it was another puzzle piece to making sense of who I was and all the questions I was seeking. And the way that consciousness works is to light up whatever is in on the screen of the mind. So because I was meditating and creating a lot of inner space, I guess, just distance between the conditioned me and who I really was, and that space grew, I started to just notice. This is when my brain is trying to think about what to say rather than just
It's all
letting
good.
it
Just
flow.
flow. Just flow. Just
Um,
flow. Just flow.
I've totally forgotten the thread.
Yo, with consciousness, it is one of those things that it lives within the body when the body is safe.
Yes. So, and what I learned. So one of the puzzle pieces. This is what I'm getting at. One of the puzzle pieces was that the insecurities weren't mine.
Right.
So the information that I was given was certain moments in time or periods of time where I had absorbed, as if by osmosis, the
Mm-hmm.
conditioning or the
Mm-hmm.
behavior from somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't aware that that was happening, but I was being now given the information that that's what happened.
Right.
And because the truth was that it wasn't me,
Yep.
it dissolved. And it did feel like a dissolving, like I couldn't look at myself in the mirror from that point onwards and have a negative voice in my head because it
Yeah.
was no longer there, because
No.
it was never real in the first place. I I mean that's just profound.
It is profound because of how loud things can get,
Yes.
because of how much we are in our own heads,
Yes.
because of how much pressure is constantly awaiting us from the moment we open our eyes to the minute we close our eyes and even in sleep. Right? Like there are so many people that struggle with sleep issues because of the level of stress that is happening, that is mental stress, but that's also energetic stress. And you're right. If more people understood how much of a sponge we all are in our energy fields and how much we then decide to take it on because we think it's supposed to be taken on or because we think it's going to support somebody else in some manner, like OMG, like you get to be clear in your energy field. And even children, I'm constantly moving kids out of the energy field, out, because it's like you are having an experience that you get to have. I can support and love on you all day long, but you don't get to take from me and I don't get to take from you. Like we get to do this thing in that sovereign space of the dominion that we have for our own being and our own experience, right? And that was just never, I know growing up it wasn't something that I was given. There was no authority once you turned 18. Like there was no passing of a baton. Hey, you're an adult now, congratulations, you made it, I made it, I'm stepping back, you get to take. None of that ever happened. And it's actually so true. Like our inner voice becomes that parent that was there, trying to keep us safe or trying to get us through high school or trying to just keep us alive, if we were always choosing death. You know what I mean? Like that then becomes the inner dialogue, that inner voice that we are constantly battling,
Mm,
because it's what we've known. We've never been able to take that power back
mm,
and start to decide for ourselves moving forward, this is what I'm going to be feeling. This is what I'm going to speak to myself. This is how I'm going to conduct my life. I get to choose that.
mm,
That is such a foreign concept even still, despite how much we've evolved,
mm.
in this.
But it's, for me, it's perfect by design. It's absolutely perfect. So when I think about developmentally how we need an identity to form to survive, we need that built. So we need the belonging, we need the safety, we need the love, we need the conditions, and we need an identity in which to know ourselves in a sense and to
Sure,
experience the world.
sure, sure.
And that's how we live, and we live as that conditioning that's been formed all along the years forever until the point that we have that sudden deep shift
Hmm.
and realization of, wait a minute. And I think that's where we can try hard to find answers, but there's something about deep suffering that lends itself to transformation because our identity is being shattered by something external, so to speak, that we're not actively choosing it. But
Would you say it's more of like a reorganization? Because yes, you're right. We grow up and we I don't want to say adhere to, but we are safe in the environment that we're in. It grows us. It gets us to where we need to be. And then at some point the soul takes over. At some point the soul says, all right, we're going to intervene here, and this is where we have a reorganization of what we think, of what we feel, of where we are, of where we want to be, you know.
Mm. I think for the first part of our life, it's the conditioned self that is running the show. It's what we've known. I mean, I can only speak from my experience, really, but what it felt like, if you can imagine in your mind, I always think of the infinity symbol. I have it on tattooed on my finger, weirdly, but it's where it meets in the middle. It's like the conditioned self.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's not expansive. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
The
It's
conditioned
constricted.
self
Yeah.
is constricted. It is limited.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
get to this point, and for me, the point in the middle where it crosses was the awakening of truth, and then it just opens up again, but from a different center.
Absolutely. And the thing that the guides are talking about too is that this doesn't have to just connect to suffering. There are many people that have these, aha moments when they're
Yes.
listening to something, or this OMG thing take place when something just like clicks. Like, and also this is something that can happen quite often throughout your experience. It
Yeah.
doesn't just happen once. I think our souls, like you said, it's divinely orchestrated, it's divinely planned, because our soul knows it's going to take this level of shaking to wake where we're at. And reminders along the way of how potent and powerful we are.
Mm.
And, let's talk about consciousness, because, it is for me this, mm, it's a feeling for me. Consciousness, when it runs through the body, it's a feeling, a warmth. And I would identify it with a sensation of gentleness and peace, ease. There's also this connection to consciousness that is a stream of information, a stream of awareness, not always being words, sometimes being imaging, sometimes it's just being sensational, but this consciousness for you, when you describe it to a client, when a client comes to you and they say, okay, I'm at this place, I don't know which way to go, I don't know what to listen to, one part of me this, one part of me that, like we hear that all the time, right? One part of me this, one
Mm.
part of me that. How would you describe consciousness versus the egoic aspect of a person that's attempting to keep someone safe, keep someone small, keep someone
I don't know that I would in the
mentioned?
way that I work.
Okay.
I don't know whether I would use. I rarely use the word ego because, again, language is so limited and there's so much noise around certain words. So, trauma, I would speak to the depth of experience. Ego, I would rather speak to the conditioned part of ourselves. Just because I think words are overused and everybody's got a different idea of what that means. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
if I'm speaking from my experience, conditioned self makes a lot of sense to me and I can see that clearly. Um, and people aren't really coming to me. I suppose I speak to consciousness because this is me unpacking what is the fabric of transformation. And there is this divine intelligence within each of us that we can access
Yeah.
and allow to be without obstruction, which reorganizes us from the inside out. It's
Mm-hmm.
beyond mind, it's beyond logic, it's this intelligence that if we just remove what's in the way and allow it to work, it does what it needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, because people find me when they're seeking more, they're not necessarily seeking consciousness, they're coming with their human experience of this is how I feel, this is what's going on, and it's very raw and real and tender.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about what truth wants to come through that connection, the way
Hmm.
that I am working. So um, I wouldn't necessarily speak to even conditioned self and divine self. I would guide them to perceive something in a different way, or bring their awareness to something they're not seeing.
Got you. Got
So
you.
so it can be, they can get those sudden aha moments. They can
Hmm.
suddenly get that, or they can be seeds where they're like, there's something working. There's no answer yet, but there's
Yeah.
something working.
Yeah. And so it's more of an experience that you, how would I say it? The way in which you work would be more of the unfolding of, where where someone is and where you are journeying with them to, where they are going to end up, or where they are desiring to end up, or what they're working through, to remove that's preventing them from tapping into that space within themselves.
Yes. Um, yes, and I enjoy depth, and that's what would draw somebody to me. There's nothing surface level about about me, and people will often say, even the other day I had a client say, very innocent but very direct and to the heart of things, and that kind of sums it up quite nicely, about how truth is just truth. Truth
Hmm.
is like, it lands like a butterfly, but
Hmm.
it's also as sharp as a knife.
Yeah.
But there's nothing flamboyant about the truth.
Yeah.
And I think the truth is when we see clearly, but not see 3D. We see through our inner vision. We see now the truth of what's occurring in this situation.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. And again, when it is at that level and when it's soft. It's not life altering, but it is at the same time, and I love it. I love it. And often when those things happen in my world, I sit back and go, OMG, duh. Like, that's generally the consensus. Like, of course, like, duh, like, what? Like, that, not, I wouldn't say that was easy, but that was so, like, obvious, you know what I mean? And I think that those are often the moments, and again, it's in that space where everything just it clicks, and it's never like you said with the mirror, you'd never look at yourself
Mm.
in that same way again. You'd never see that same version when you peer into your reflection ever again. Like, this is just such a, oh wow, that makes so much sense. And when it makes so much sense, it is that threshold to truth. This is when this works. This is what this is.
Mm.
I got it now. Like,
Mm.
you know what I mean?
And then it
Um,
opens up to every area of life, everything about
Absolutely.
you:
Oh,
relationships,
yep,
work,
yep,
motherhood,
yep,
health, how
yeah,
how we are being in relationship with everything in our life.
absolutely, absolutely. Oh gosh, this is just, it's been incredible. But there's, and again, just, it's perfect, Emily. Like, it's just deep, you know?
Yeah.
Where can friends find you if they want to connect and go deeper with you, and carry on this conversation? Where do you hang out?
So at the moment, I am only using my Facebook profile. So it would just be on there, and you can just reach out via DM with any questions or inquiries. But that's the main place at the moment.
Perfect. Well, we're going to make sure that your link is right there in the show notes so that everybody has that easily accessible to them so they can go check you out, because to be in your world is freaking fantastic and you're missing out if you are not connected. So please go find Miss Emily. Do you have anything coming up that people can take advantage of, groups or workshops or opportunities that you're opening?
Um, at the moment, I'm loving the one-to-one space and the depth of it, because there's such a sacredness about the field that is held between two people at a particular point in time.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so one-to-one work is always available, and there are different ways of different lengths and different ways of going about that.
Perfect.
I also offer like standalone one-off sessions for people that are kind of navigating health issues, because I still have people reach out for me in a physio capacity,
Of
but
course.
it's not, that's not the work that I offer now. But I do offer one-off sessions as a bit of a one-off. Let's see what's going on, and let's see what wants to be revealed about what's going on here. So it's kind of like a doorway into greater depth, and then from there they can continue and go even deeper if they wish. So
Amazing. Amazing. Well, friends, run to Facebook and find Miss Emily. You will be so thankful that you did. And make sure that you are leaving your feedback and your comments for us wherever you are tuning in. I'm so excited to have had you on this podcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for your time, for
thank
your
you, same to you.
essence
I love these
on it.
conversations.
It's so good. Well, we'll be doing it again soon. Don't you worry. We'll be doing it again soon. All right, friends. Well, thank you so much for joining the Sovereign Soul this morning. Until next week, have an amazing week ahead. All my love. Bye, Sovereign Soul.